Well, here it is. The results of my wonderful Hideaki 2023 art competition. And what I mean by here it is that I'll actually get to it after my intro and totally not gonna take forever speech regarding the occasion. But yeah, all jokes aside, I want to start by just apologizing for taking way too long with the results. I ended up getting over 100 entries, and I have to say that all of them were lovely. Whether it be the insanely professional pieces, works from new artists who are just joining us, and pretty much everything from every walk of life imaginable. Now of course, I knew it was gonna get a lot of attention when I made such a huge prize payout, but even then, I was not fully prepared for how much y'all were gonna deliver. It was just an overall amazing experience, and I can't thank you all enough for participating. But with all of that in mind, I knew it wouldn't be fair to just have one winner here. So as my original plans entailed, I decided to introduce prizes for the top 5 winners instead, which I thought were personally the best. But even with 5 cash prizes going out, I still wanted to make everyone feel as included as possible. So for this video, I will be announcing the top 5 winners, but also give honorable mentions to a few other entries I really enjoyed, some of which will be based on specific categories or elements, or those that didn't make the top 5, but are still really good in their own right. And in general, I'll try to talk about as many as I can. Yeah, getting your art shown in a video is not quite as cool as getting $1,000, but I hope it's better than nothing. However, with that said, let's begin. Also, I should mention that my throat is a little bit icky right now, so if I sound a little bit off, that's probably why. Oops. Alright, so to start off, we're gonna begin with our top 5 winners for the prizes. Now of course, there were, to say the least, definitely more than 5 masterpieces. So even trying to just rank or choose an entry was a near impossible task. But thankfully, I ended up getting help from one of my great friends, Redworld. I feel like I mention him a lot on this channel, but he does help me edit videos, and he's an overall amazing great guy. But going back to the competition though, he actually does have experience hosting competitions himself. So we basically decided to get together one night, analyzed every piece I could possibly collect, which totaled to about 120, and from there, find the ones we thought could be the best, and chose from there. Of course though, that's not to say that just because you didn't win, means you should be ashamed of yourself and your art sucks. Because honestly, the fact that you decided to even participate at all, in my opinion, is a win in itself, as I'm sure many chose not to, or didn't think they had a chance. So I always applaud the effort, and there were unfortunately many good ones we had to pass up, just because of how tight the competition was. But with that, and after many hours of consideration, let's begin with our top 5. So for the 5th spot, we are kicking it off strong already, as we got this amazing drawing by artist Trickfoot Trails from Twitter. But overall, when me and Red were looking through entries, this is one that really stood out to us personally, as the colors are incredibly vibrant, but very pleasing to look at, and everything, from the sign displaying my channel's name, the beach itself, Hideaki, and the car all look fantastic, and everything really just comes together perfectly to display that mix between retro restaurant design and the chill but beautiful scenery of the beach. Overall, an amazing drawing all around, and just one that's very pleasing to look at. Like honestly, I would probably hang this up in my room or something if I could. It is really cool. So coming in 4th place, we have this very interesting piece by artist Miyuki Aya, also from Twitter. Apologies if I mispronounced that, but if I'm being honest, as much as I like Hideaki's original form, I do think this new style actually works great for him. The whole piece has a much more detailed, kinda realistic style almost. Well, as much as a talking dog can get anyways. And of course, the setting is pretty cool as well, with the super chill looking beach, the classic style Taco Bell, and even a bunch of nods to the background I use in videos, which I think is a really fun addition. And all of this, combined with the perfectly done shading and coloring, makes for a really satisfying and of course awesome work of art. Like, it's so well executed, I can see this being on display in an exhibit or something. It's incredibly well done. And this level of talent is honestly something I wish I can even have a sliver of. It's crazy good. But now, coming into third place, we have this fantastic artwork by artist DuffGuy665, who sent their entry through my email. In fact, they actually sent a few different versions, which I'll be displaying on screen. And I must say that, when they first sent these to me, I already knew it was going to be one of my personal favorites. Because this one is not only so well done, but also has a lot going for it. As I didn't specifically mention anything about Bluey characters in my announcement, but did mention that other characters can be added. However, since my channel is so closely associated with the show, I wasn't surprised to see a few crossovers, and I personally think that this one is one of the best ones we saw, as the center of focus is about Hideaki, who's of course with Bandit, but also features a ton of other characters, ranging from Bluey causing absolute chaos, to that one guy from Hammer Barn working the counter. And overall, all of it just comes perfectly together to create this super vibrant, energetic piece that feels like a perfect tribute to the channel, as well as being just an incredibly fun work of art overall. So thank you. Alrighty, so we are getting close to the big one, but for second place, we have this amazing work by artists Ray Hanedro, or simply Ray, from Twitter. And this was another instance where when I first got the piece submitted, I was just looking at it and just thinking, wow. In fact, they actually sent two drawings that were somewhat similar, and although I kinda prefer this one since it has the car and a few other additional details, the first one is honestly incredible on its own, and I think both are beyond amazing to say the least. But going back to the second one, I think it's super cool, because Hideaki himself not only looks great, but everything else is just incredible, including all of the big and small details. Whether it be the nicely drawn car, the variety of the food he's serving, and even the fun roller skates and outfit, making him resemble a server at an old car hopper or something like that, which I think is a really cool idea. And on top of that, the addition of the extra colors, the retro style sign, and even some textures and patterns really make everything come together perfectly. Also, it looks like the dude himself is just having the absolute time of his life, and overall, I love it, and it's just awesome. And now, with all that said, the time has finally come, because finally, for our big grand prize and first place, we have this amazing artwork by artist Reigman, also from Twitter. Although I think he did post it on Instagram too if I'm not wrong. But regardless, this was a piece that I feel as if personally spoke to me and Redworld as well. Now, Reigman has actually drawn artwork featuring Hideaki in the past, but this one is definitely my absolute favorite by a long shot. And of course, a fantastic work of art all around, because I feel as if when it comes to the design of Hideaki, his car, or other things associated with him in general, he really added his own special style and approach to it, but did it in a way that perfectly reflects what these different items are about, and in a way that's still incredibly nice and satisfying to look at, making for a very unique, yet still amazing piece that just drags you into this calm but chill atmosphere surrounding Hideaki, and the addition of the perfect lighting, coloring, and placement of everything, perfectly combining the themes of retro styles with a subtle pinch of the ocean side, just makes for what is arguably a perfect work of art. And with that, along with just being a really cool piece, is why we have personally chosen this as our #1 contender. So for Reigman, as well as any other artists who are watching this, thank you. And for those who won, congrats. Now with all that said, for any top 5 winners who are watching this, I will be giving out the prize money as promised. This is of course not a scam, and my preferred methods are PayPal and Venmo, but if you, for whatever reason, can't use either of those, we may have to discuss further on other sites or services we could possibly use. However, for those who are interested in claiming the prizes, I would prefer the winners to either DM me on Twitter or send an email to my official email account, bbproductionsemail@gmail.com. Once again, huge congrats to everyone, and now, let's move on to a few other pieces I really enjoyed. Alrighty, so even though we have covered our main winners, I felt that it would be wrong of me not to showcase more, as outside of the top 5, there were plenty I still wanted to give a shout out to. And I thought that one fun way to do this would be to show the best pictures based on certain categories. So I guess you can kinda consider these the bonus unofficial official winners. Unfortunately, there aren't any cash prizes for these, but I'm hoping that a quick shoutout is the least I can do. So to start, we have the best depiction of Hideaki in his original style, which is basically a drawing that perfectly captures how he looks in my videos, but isn't obviously traced or anything like that. And for this title, I wanted to give a shout out to artist Gabriel Dane, who I believe is active on Twitter and Instagram. Their artwork features Hideaki in all of his bluey style glory, attempting to buy out, of course, an old restaurant. Overall, a pretty funny but really interesting premise, and a fun piece of fan art overall. Now in contrast, we have our next title, which is the best depiction of Hideaki, but in a new style. And for this one, this was really difficult to choose, as we saw plenty of unique and really cool designs, but for this case, we have this amazing art by L. Laurie from Twitter. Overall, I feel like the design they gave Hideaki is somewhat simple, but perfectly well executed. I've always gravitated towards making Hideaki a good few steps less than realistic, but I feel like this kinda changes it up, but still kinda keeps that cutesy, approachable feel, and definitely feels like a design I can easily recognize as being Hideaki, even without the bluey inspiration. Like, if this was his official design, I wouldn't even mind. And of course, the artwork in itself is also really nice as well. And in fact, they actually made 2 drawings, with one featuring him at a restaurant, and another driving a convertible, both of which, in my opinion, are super cool, and really well done. So coming up next, we have the best piece to feature other characters. Now of course, this is something I already went over previously, but with that said, I wanted to give a shout out to another piece that also did something similar, which leads us to this fantastic piece by artist V through my email. As of writing this, I'm not sure if they wanted me to use their full name or not, so I'll just call them that for now. But looking at their artwork, they also submitted 2 pieces, and both were just incredible. As I don't really know how to describe it, but they just have that really calming, wholesome feel to them, which I really enjoy. However, for the title I mentioned, I chose this piece in particular, which features Hideaki being taken for an absolute ride by Muffin and the others. And admittedly, this one gave me a pretty good laugh when it came out, especially with Hideaki's absolute look of shock and utter terror, so thank you very much. Now up next, we have the one with the most interesting art style, and for that, I decided to go with this really interesting piece by artist Angelic Tofu, who sent this one through my email as well. And overall, while it just missed the top list, I really wanted to show this one, because I just found the execution so intriguing, as the lack of colors but smooth shading really do sell the idea of it being a panel from a really good comic or graphic novel, which is a stylistic choice I personally found to be unique and really interesting. Like, if this wasn't solely made just for the competition, I would have been easily fooled into thinking this was a part of some huge, high-budget project. Overall, an amazing job and just really well done. And with that said, while we're on the topic of unique entries, I also wanted to give the title of the most unique entry overall. And for that, I wanted to give a shout out to Norville12, who sent this really interesting piece through my email as well. And according to his description, he actually created his entry through CGI, using the software Blender 3D. And overall, I was not expecting to actually get a 3D entry, but for what it is, I did find it really interesting, and was surprised to see how well it actually works, as the more smooth, polygon style really does give it that kind of retro appearance. And I could personally see this being a frame from like some kind of commercial or animated short from back in the day, but in general, I thought this one was just really cool, and definitely a unique take on the ideas I originally proposed. And now, for our second to last honorary title, we have something my mom of all people was personally interested in seeing, and that's the best hand-drawn entry. Now of course, unless you used AI or something, which in my opinion is cheating, all of these were drawn by hands to an extent. But regarding the entries we got, there were a few that were actually drawn on actual paper. And for the one that I personally really enjoyed, I wanted to showcase this really good drawing by Misty, who also sent theirs by email. Overall, I thought their piece was super cool and colorful, and I don't know if it was intentional, but I did notice that in the picture, it did appear to be drawn on a sketchbook, I think, which is super cool to me, so thank you. And now, with all that said, we now have the last title I wanted to bring up, and that is the one that will likely be my new wallpaper. And okay, that doesn't sound very important, but I can assure you that's a prestigious position, because out of all the fan art I get, all of the cool pictures I take, only a select few get to reach that role. And as of now, literally the only picture I have for it was my car at the beach, and a picture of Hideaki judging all of my life choices. In fact, my boyfriend hasn't even made it on there yet. Like my actual IRL boyfriend. Not that crazy bandit shipping stuff. Also, did I just spoil the fact that I have a boyfriend now? Oh, surely not. But anyways, in this great position, I decided to go with this amazing drawing by artist Loonsetter from Twitter. Apologies if I messed up your name, but they drew me this wonderful drawing of Hideaki, who seems to be doing some reflecting near the beach during sunset, with of course, a nice old restaurant nearby. And overall, I thought this piece was also super cool, but also had a really chill, relaxing vibe to it, which I really enjoyed. So thank you. And with that, we have covered all of the main winners, as well as some specific titles I wanted to give out. But before I officially go, I also wanted to give a shout out to a few additional pieces I really enjoyed as well. Now of course, it would take a really long while to feature every single drawing, but I do plan on giving more shoutouts in other videos, and in the near future in general, so it's not quite over just yet. But with that said, I wanted to begin with this wonderful drawing by Calm Kaluki Art, also from Twitter. I apologize if I also messed that name up, but I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed your drawing in particular, as the details of some specific items really took me by surprise. Hideaki himself somehow looks more like an actual Shikoku dog, while still looking like, well, Hideaki. Something that I didn't even think was actually possible, and the accuracy of the other items was also notably incredible as well. The Taco Bell he's at is almost spot on with the colors and iconography of the time, and the car's interior, while seemingly a minor detail, was something I particularly noticed, as it's pretty on point to what my actual car's interior looks like, which is crazy, since I don't think I've ever actually posted a good picture of the inside, which to me implies that this person went out of their way to do research on this topic find other images of this car's model, see how it looks, and then apply it here to this drawing. Which, if that's actually the case, I find super impressive and an awesome detail. So kudos to you. Another drawing I also enjoyed was this one by SoftServe Shiba, also from Twitter, featuring Hideaki holding a balloon and floating down with this old school McDonald's uniform, with an appropriate restaurant to boot, with even a cameo from what I assume is the healers down below. And overall, I am kinda interested to know the inspiration behind this one, but regardless, I thought it was a super fun idea and a really cool drawing. And speaking of fun ideas, another one I personally enjoyed a lot was this one by ShadyBump1189 from Twitter. Overall, I kinda dig the more simple, yet bubbly style they gave him, and the facial expressions honestly gave me a really good laugh, especially involving the one in the bottom right, which is just absolute peak Hideaki, and the one across from it is funny as well, featuring Hideaki being really excited to have the, object we don't dare mention. But in general, I thought this one was really cute and overall super funny. And for our final big shout out, I wanted to showcase this amazing work by another artist on Twitter, Too Nice, who drew this gorgeous piece of Hideaki enjoying some time at the beach, with some incredible visuals and amazing lighting to boot. Like, it almost looks realistic. It's that well done. In fact, I don't really have even any other words to really describe how good it is, but overall, it's just fantastic, and one that, even though not making the top 5, is one that really stood out to me and even my friend Redworld, so thank you very, very much. But with all that said, that's just the tip of the iceberg regarding the amazing drawings for my Hideaki 2023 art competition. I titled it like there's gonna be one next year. I don't think there will be, but maybe, I don't know. But with the amount of incredible fan art I got, I'm probably going to be occupied for a while, as I did originally want to feature way more entries here, but I felt that if I did, I would just be rushing to compliment them all, which personally, I think would be a bit disrespectful. So to amend for that, I will try to feature the ones I left out in future Art of the Day segments and other videos. So if yours didn't make it here, I am very sorry, but I will try my best to give shoutouts in upcoming videos. However, until next time, my name's Hideaki, and I hope y'all enjoyed these amazing masterpieces as much as I did, and congrats to all of our amazing winners, as well as the over 100 people who participated in this wonderful, amazing event. But for now, have a pleasant day, and until further ado, goodbye.